What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into Barley Studios. Who's ready for another awesome acrylic painting video? Now, this is a sped up version of the full-length content here. This is more so of a clip that has been pulled from the full-length content, which you'll be able to find on my YouTube channel here in the near future. Now, in this session or highlight clip of the full-length video, we're going to be working on the ash plumes that are coming up and out of the volcano. Both the female and the male volcanoes do have the ash plume. Now, they are blending, but they are separate at the same time. So in the first portion of the video, we're going to go ahead and bring in my palette, and then we're going to introduce some colors, and then we'll do a zoomed-in version of the same thing as far as the male volcano. So we're going to start off with here is a few colors on my palette. We have a cadmium orange hue, we have a cadmium yellow hue, we have a permanent alizarin crimson, a crimson, and then I believe there's a little bit of a rose right there, or a lighter color of red. I can't remember the name, you guys, and I apologize, but it is a lighter color red, more so of a pink color. I don't use it a whole lot, more so just to kind of blend in some colors here and there. Now, for the most part, what we're going to do is we're going to bring in the cadmium orange hue on the overall base, and then we're going to go into the alizarin crimson around where the volcanic ash or embers are coming out of the very top of her head there, and then what we'll do is we'll start to add crimsons here and there, and we want those crimsons more so to stand out. So when we start to go over it with the grays of the smoke plume, we want these bright, brilliant blended colors to really show through. But you really want to blend in some of those reds and yellows so that it really just stands out and it looks like it's real fire coming out of the top of the volcano. Introducing a little bit of titanium white there, and then I'll go over that with a little bit more orange, and then that will result in a brighter, more of a paled out orange, which can survive the overall blending process of the smoke plume here in a moment. Introducing a little bit more of that crimson as well as the alizarin crimson, permanent alizarin crimson, into that. And then we're going to start the process of blending out the actual smoke over these embers here. It's a really easy process, and it's actually very satisfying. The hardest part about this is just covering up that beautiful, vibrant oranges and reds that you just applied to the smoke plume. So of course, the volcanic ash, as it comes out, it is very dark, but it does dissipate in the oxygen around. So as it gets further away or away from the volcano, it will get lighter and lighter and lighter until eventually it just dissipates into nothing. So here the goal is to start off with a very dark combination of Mars black and titanium white, and I'll introduce more titanium white as I apply more layers. And the goal here is just to go over the existing layers that you've already went over, but every time you go over it, just go over it a little bit less. So a lot of those darker colors that are from the behind more Mars black, deep black colors will survive this process, and every time you add it over, it puts a lot of that orange and red in the background of that blended color. Again, a lot of this is a little bit of dry brushing over these processes, so just remember that is what we're doing here. We're dry brushing over that, and then that orange color that we're pushing into those little crevices and recesses with the intensity of the crimson and the yellows are going to be survived in the recesses of those sculpted textures. I got tongue-tied there for a minute, you guys. So as you can see here, we're going to go ahead and introduce more of that permanent alizarin crimson, and then we'll come in with some crimson right off the bat. See how brighter that is? That's a lot of bright crimson there, and we're just going to be very chaotic with this. It doesn't have to be any particular way, but just remember that anywhere you want that red to be kind of popping through, it needs to have some of that. Now, I'm also kind of making a combination here of a little bit of the cadmium orange hue as well as the cadmium yellow hue, and it just has a really nice combination of just bright color there. And then we're going to start to go over it with this same overall color combination. So I'll start off with almost like a pure Mars black around some of those edges, just kind of cleaning up any kind of overpaint that I had from the blue background of the sky. And then we'll start to introduce the titanium white into this mixture as we go through this process. Now just remember, you have to you just got to lock it down and just cover up some of that beautiful paint. You got to do it. And I'm also going to create a little bit of an isolation between his smoke plume and hers. So they're blending together and kind of floating to the right-hand side. Or at least that's the way I sculpted it here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to have to cover up a little bit more of that, so that way most of those hot glowing embers of the volcanic ash are there towards the tops of their heads. It also helps to draw the eye down towards their composition, and it also helps it look a little bit more realistic, because logically, as that those embers left the hot boughs of the volcanoes and they got up into the sky and then started drifting away. Obviously, not only just the elevation would cool them off, but just they would dissipate in heat energy as they kind of drifted away in the oxygen, and then the air took it over, right? So there I am separating those two plumes out with just a dark line between them, and then we're just going to go ahead and finish this process up here, you guys. This looks pretty good overall, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. Now it's going to look even better when I get the browns on their heads. Now here you can see I just applied a really quick orange, yellow, and then titanium white highlight to each of the tops of those sculpted nodes. And I just thought that they bring a little bit of highlight to each of those little sculpted portions. Just a little extra there. What do you think, you guys? I really do hope you enjoyed this overall painting portion of this awesome I Lava You light switch. And this was the Volcanic Ash. I'll catch you on the next one, you guys. Later.